Logistics startup Flexport has secured $1 billion in funding led by the SoftBank Vision Fund. The company, now valued at $3.2 billion after the funding round, plans to use the capital to deepen its technology and data capabilities, as well as grow its global infrastructure. Bloomberg's Emily Chang caught up with Flexport CEO Ryan Petersen to discuss the news.
Flexport's an international freight forwarding company, and global trade and international freight forwarding are some of the biggest markets in the world, extremely scale driven. And so the bigger your company is, the more advantages you can provide to your customer base. And so we felt like this level of capital lets us really make the investments we need to go after that scale.
So why take a $1 billion investment rather than some of the other options that would have been on the table to get to the next phase?
Yeah, we did have a lot of different options there. I was very attracted by the ability to just really go and aggressively expand our business in globally. I mean, we need to be in every single country in the world. Our customers are global. The entire premise of working with Flexport is that we can help you expand and go global.
Did you weigh the ethics at all of taking SoftBank's money, given the connection to the Saudi government?
Of course, we spent a lot of time thinking about it, a lot of time working with SoftBank. I went to Japan. I've spent a lot of time with them. Really felt like there was a real alignment in what our mission is, which is making global trade easy for everyone on the planet, connecting humanity in this seamless web of commerce. We've seen over the last 50 years, I don't think anything lifted more people out of poverty than the shipping container and trade. And over the next 50, it's going to be the internet and technology, AI. And we're so lucky to get to work at the intersection. And we're fortunate to have an investment partner like SoftBank who sees that.
So this is a government that's connected to the murder of a U.S. journalist. Did you ask SoftBank about this? Did you get the answers that you wanted to hear?
Yeah, well, I spent a lot of time with SoftBank's people and really built a lot of comfort with them over the last several years and really understand them as people, what their vision is and where they're going. And so, yeah, we had a lot of great conversations and felt really aligned in our values.
Did you personally talk to Masayoshi Son, and what were those interactions like?
I did. He even invited me to his house. I wouldn't want to disclose too much, but of course I did get to put on slippers and go, and it was interesting to negotiate a deal of this size while wearing slippers.
But what was your impression of him, and why you felt like this could work?
So I've always been attracted to his worldview ever since I first read. They have a great PDF of their 30 and 300-year vision document explaining and I've never seen a company that has a 300-year vision before, and that was inspiring to me. One of our core values is to play the long game. And I think I'm in awe of everything he's achieved in his career, and to be in the presence of a visionary and hear firsthand some of the stories about his advice to Alibaba in the early days about how they can do their pricing strategy to win in that market. So he's had similar advice for us, which is to be really aggressive and go for scale and growth.
So what are the trends that we should be watching for in freight in the next 1 to 5 years? How is this industry going to change?
I think it's going to change a lot to where the consumer expectation is 2-day delivery. And to do that, you can't manage it by the phone. And so you need to be able to have smart analytics that are telling you where to ship cargo, how it's going to get there, routing decisions, whether it should ship by air or ocean. And ultimately, what the brand cares about is their cost, their transit time, and the predictability of the system. And those are things that the freight industry is only focused on cost historically. And we're saying well, let's look at these other factors and see how they affect your growth.
How is the trade war and the uncertainty around what's actually going to happen impacting the trends that you're seeing?
The trade war is fascinating. We're on the front lines of it. Our customers are getting impacted every time there's a new tariff imposed. The customers, that hurts bad, and we're there with them trying to figure out within 5 minutes of a new tariff code being implemented, we're the ones notifying our customers and saying, hey, this is how it's going to impact your business, and starting to help them plan around that. We see a lot of movement of factories, supplier base from China to Southeast Asia and other regions.
How much movement?
Well, just anecdotally, in the last month, I've talked to 10 customers, and 9 out of 10 are moving significant portions of their supply chain from China to other regions. So it's a big impact.
Is that going to be longer term, no matter what is decided?
Well, the one thing we know is there's going to be a lot of uncertainty, and so it's very hard to make longer term predictions, and that's the whole problem, is that these brands need to plan. Supply chains are things that need to run on a routine, and they don't just change overnight, and yet like at the speed of a tweet, we can change what the policy is. So it's very hard for brands. And I think that's one area that we can shine, is be more adaptable, faster to learn the new regulations, consult with our customers about it, and help them plan.
So the president has set this March 1st deadline. We don't know what's actually going to happen on that deadline, but what are you going to be doing on March 1st?
Well, we'll be up late that night and following very closely exactly what's implemented, because we've seen if we can respond in real time, knowing here are all the products that are affected and this is the amount of new duty that's imposed, our customers love it when they hear from us first, and we're able to tell them this is the exact impact on you. And you don't want to be the one researching that. You want to know that you're working with a trusted freight forwarder and customs broker that's got your back on these things.